Sure.
Final sign off, guys?
Sure.
Good.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Sure.
Let's go with it. Well, I'm talking about Capitol Hill Road.
Oh, yeah.
I get to be on the final inspection too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can feel what's happening.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the School Bond Advisory Board. First order of business is to approve the minutes of the January 8th, 2019 Advisory Board meeting, and I would recognize a motion to that effect. It's been moved. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. We have next is receive Independent School District number 89, 2007 and 2016 school bond issue financial information.
Mr. Chairman, you have in your packet the financial information in its usual form. We'll try to answer any questions that you might have.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll vote to receive. Approved. Next, we have a ratification docket. 3 points, A, B, and C. First one is to recommend the Independent School District number 89 ratify the approval of the design fees for the HVAC systems upgrade utilizing 2016 I-89 school bond funds of $93,510. Second is to recommend the Independent School District number 89 ratify the approval of design fees for HVAC systems upgrades utilizing 2016 I-89 school bond funds of $71,450. And C, recommend the Independent School District number 89 ratify the purchase and installation of a sump pump for Classen School Advanced Studies utilizing 2016 I-89 school bond funds not to exceed $8,500.
Mr. Chairman, if you'll recall, we passed a resolution, or this board passed a resolution for emergency items, and they would come back for ratification. That's what this agenda is. The first two aren't typically what we would call emergency items that would be something that was in peril for life or property, but it was an emergency in as far as that this project needed to move on in order to get the work done this summer so that it can be ready for the school year. And I went through the same procedure that we have for the emergency projects, and that is to call the chairman and 2 members of the board to get approval, and it comes back with that approval. And then likewise, the third one was an emergency with a sump pump at Classen School for Advanced Studies, and I received your approval and 2 board members on that, so they come back for ratification.
Any questions or comments? We'll vote. It's been approved. It's ratified. Next. I thought the ratification docket
Yes.
title was enough. It is not. I need a motion that we approve those 3.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Next item is to recommend the City Council approve change order number 1 for Capitol Hill High School and the Spiegel Stadium roadway parking lot and storm sewer reconstruction, an increase of $30,345, project ES 85.
This is the project that is ongoing for the roadway around Capitol Hill High School. It is Maps for Kids funds that this body oversees now. As it says, it is a change order for $30,000. There was a water line that was not in the location that it was supposed to be, that all indications showed where it was, and it had to be lowered. And then there's also some storm sewer that was changed in that same area because of that lowering.
I'd ask for a motion to approve.
Okay, one quick question on that. Is the river turn kind of up south side of the school there? So as we're doing all that work, getting over the concrete, and we still have that one little area, a little bit of asphalt, there's some potholes in that. Did we ever get that included in the original work then?
Which area? The parking lot that's by the tennis courts?
Other side, closer to the school, it's almost directly across. There's kind of a little nook in there. There was an old tennis court, well, the old tennis court, a lot of the staff parks on there.
No, I don't believe that part is included in that. We are coming into that concrete island that separated that faculty parking lot, but we're not going all the way into the campus area. It's mostly just the ringed road.
That's sitting a lot of all there, fix all that, get that all pull out. Everything's
We'll look into it, but because of the description of the project, it is that road, to get that far out of scope might be an issue. But I can talk to the school district, see if we can get another contract on it. Okay.
So move. It's been moved. Is there a second? Second. Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Next, recommend Independent School District Number 89 approve the final plans and specifications, project SB 16-004, Shidler, Cleveland, Willowbrook, and Marigold-LaRosse Elementary Schools HVAC improvements.
So this is a small architectural project. Brian Sauer is here today from FSB to give you a quick update on what this project consists of, so I'd like to invite him up.
Thank you, David. As discussed, this is project SB 16004, where we are making HVAC improvements at Shidler, Cleveland, Willowbrook, and Marigold-LaRosse elementary schools. How do I advance it? So a summary of the project, it's to add air conditioning and makeup air to existing kitchens. All 4 schools have similar issues. 2 of the kitchens have inadequate, inoperable air conditioning. 2 of the schools have no air conditioning at all. And in none of the 4 schools is there functional makeup air to make up for the kitchen exhaust. The project schedule advertises on April 10th. The pre-bid conference will take place on April 18th. Bids are then due May 1st with a construction start date of May 27th and completion date of July 26th. The budget for the project is $750,000. Our current estimated cost is $710,007. All of the projects are very similar in terms of cost, with the exception of Marigold-LaRosse, where we do have an alternate to replace the kitchen hood. You'll see that the kitchen hoods in that project have been pieced together over the years, and if the bids are favorable, it would make sense to replace those hoods now. So the summary of Cleveland Elementary, we plan to provide a new 5-ton packaged DX natural gas rooftop unit for the heating and cooling of the kitchen, a new gas-fired makeup air unit for the kitchen hood, and new ceilings and lighting throughout the kitchen. And here's a photo of the kitchen, the existing kitchen hood that will remain. You'll notice in the ceilings there are no diffusers or makeup air of any kind. Marigold-LaRosse, very similar once again, except it's a larger air conditioning unit, 7.5 tons, new makeup air unit, new ceiling, new lights. We are planning on providing a new exhaust fan in the toilet, the restroom, and we do have that bid option for the kitchen hood. And if you look at the photo on the left, you can see where there's that stainless steel kitchen hood that's kind of been butted up next to the original kitchen hood, and that is the bid option that I described. Shidler Elementary, we plan to provide a new 5-ton rooftop unit, new makeup air, and again, new ceilings and lighting throughout. Here's a photo inside that kitchen. It does have some existing air conditioning, but it is inadequate for the space. And finally, Willowbrook, we plan to provide a new 7.5-ton rooftop unit, new makeup air, new ceilings and lighting throughout, as well as a new toilet exhaust fan. There is one adjacent room that has a lot of inoperable equipment that, if bids are once again favorable, we would like to demolish that equipment to free up that space for future use. And here are photos inside of Willowbrook, the existing hood to remain. There is some air conditioning in that space, but again, it's inadequate. And that's all I have for you today.
Thank you. Any questions?
So work's all completed in July, ready to go for the school year with August 12th?
That's the intent, yes. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? We'll vote. Oh, I thought we had a motion already, sorry. I need a motion to approve this.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Now we'll vote. Approved. Next, we have recommend Independent School District Number 89 approve the final plans and specifications, project SB 16-005, Adams, Capitol Hill, and Esperanza Elementary Schools HVAC improvements.
Mr. Chairman, this is a similar project, and we have Kenny Dennis from Studio Architecture here. I'd like to invite him up.
Good afternoon. I'm Kenneth Dennis with Studio Architecture. I've also brought Sean Hoffman with HP Engineering, who is our mechanical engineer on the project, to help with the presentation. Again, this is the SB 16-005, which is the HVAC improvements for Adams, Capitol Hill, and Esperanza Elementary School. First project that we'll visit about is Adams Elementary School. This is just a little location plan, kind of show you the area of work in the school, which is, again, pretty much contained at the kitchen and cafeteria area. The scope of work for Adams Elementary is, I'll let Sean talk a little bit more about the mechanical, but we are going to go in all the locations where we are impacting the ceilings and in the kitchen and the cafeteria, and either patching or repairing the existing gypboard ceiling located in the kitchen, and replacing the existing acoustical tile ceilings in the cafeteria, because we're going to be doing some modifications to the existing ductwork there.
Correct. So, as it pertains to the existing HVAC systems, we originally had planned to replace those units, assuming that they were inadequate from a capacity standpoint. But actually, after we had run our load calculations, we figured out that those 3 units are adequate. It was just a matter of air distribution, so that's one of the improvements we're making. They currently have concentric diffusers that we're replacing with proper air distribution and improving the air side of things, rather than replace those units that are only 5 years old. Other than that, there's a storage room that you'll see in that photograph that has a abandoned exhaust system that we're taking out and replacing, because that also serves an adjacent janitor's closet and public restroom area that requires exhaust by code. So that's another improvement we're making there.
Also, as I mentioned earlier with the school and the locations where we're going to be replacing the acoustical ceiling, we'll be doing new lighting in that space as well in the cafeteria. The next school is Capitol Hill Elementary School. Again, I'll let Sean talk to you a little bit about the HVAC improvements and the locations where we're going to be doing the work.
Okay, so Capitol Hill, we ran into a situation similar to these other schools where the kitchen ventilation systems did not have dedicated makeup air. So in this case, and in the essence of providing the minimal amount of air conditioning that we would need, we addressed the makeup air requirements, and so the plan is to replace those hoods with more efficient exhaust hoods with dedicated makeup air that's gas-fired heating. And then we're putting a new 6-ton rooftop unit in the kitchen area. And then there's also work in the adjacent cafeteria that we found to have distribution and capacity issues. So we're upsizing those cafeteria units from 12-ton actually to 24 total tons of capacity to improve the comfort level in the adjacent cafeteria.
So in this project, again, we will be replacing the existing acoustical ceiling tile in the kitchen with new lighting. Also, with this project, we are adding new air conditioning or new HVAC system to the gymnasium space as well. Our third and final project is Esperanza Elementary School. Again, pretty much the same scope of work as the other two. Sean, anything?
Yeah, Esperanza, from a kitchen standpoint, was a similar situation. It had a short-circuit hood without dedicated makeup air, so we're replacing the hood and providing a gas-fired makeup air unit for our makeup air and a new 5-ton gas-fired rooftop unit to serve just the kitchen area.
And then again, in the locations that are impacted, where we're doing work above the ceiling or we're impacting the ceilings, we're going to be replacing those existing ceilings with new acoustical ceilings, and new lighting as well. So for the project budget, we have an estimate for Adams Elementary School for the work of approximately $118,000. Capitol Hill Elementary School is approximately $327,800, and Esperanza Elementary School at $165,000 for a total project cost of $610,800. And our schedule, again, is the same as what FSB presented. Advertise the projects on April 10th with a mandatory pre-bid conference on April 18th. Project bids are due on May 1st with construction to start May 27th and completion date of July 26th.
Are there any questions?
I've got one. Is this, or both of these come from after the AGD with the school district? Is that my understanding?
I can't answer that, Gary. Is this based on the ADG analysis, or is this just something that you identified that needed to be done?
No, this we just identified that needed to be done. This is something that's been kind of in the works for the last year and a half, and putting things together to do
We're going to
this.
see more of these, or are these going to overlap with the ADG analysis that we already got, that's already been taken place?
Yeah, there'll be additional stuff. This here will just take care of these kitchens. Again, these 7 schools, and we have a few others, but as time restraints what got us, is we're going to, these just either didn't have any air conditioning at all, or the air conditioning was just inadequate. Same thing with the gym. It just didn't have anything at Capitol Hill Elementary. So while we were doing the kitchen, we went ahead and piggybacked this into the project because the rest of the school had full air conditioning units there.
So Capitol Hill is going to be one of the new middle schools, right?
Correct.
So did AEG have recommendations for those projects at Capitol Hill Elementary? Was this a part of theirs?
I mean, I'm sure they assessed it. We had already looked at this and had been looking at it prior to their recommendations. But yeah, I mean, this is probably piggybacked along with it. But this we had already been looking at for a while.
Is there any way we could get a copy of the AEG recommendations?
I just wrote that down.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would accept a motion for this work that they've just gone through.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Next item is item number 8, recommend Independent School District number 89, approve bond arbitrage rebate compliance services utilizing 2016 I-89 school bond funds of $1,750. Is there a motion to approve?
What is that?
I believe it's kind of like an audit. Audit. Is there someone here from finance that can help me explain that?
It's very similar to an audit. Our bonds that we sell each year have an arbitrage section, according to them, that says that we can only earn so much interest on a tax-free bond. And it's not a concern in prior years because interest rates were so low, but with current interest rates, they have to be checked to see if we actually have to pay money back on interest earned.
Any questions? I'd recommend a motion, I'd ask for a motion for approval. It's been moved. Okay, is there a second? Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Next item is item number 9, joint resolution with Independent School District number 89, Oklahoma County, Oklahoma, the City of Oklahoma City establishing a policy for allowing Independent School District number 89 to bid projects and or utilize annual contracts for 2016 I-89 school bond projects less than $50,000 and allowing the School Bond Advisory Board to recommend Independent School District number 89 ratify approval of the projects after the work has been awarded and or completed. I would recognize a motion to approve it or an answer from Mr. Todd, about what this is.
Right, this is similar to the resolution that this body passed as far as the emergency requirements. And what we found is that if the school district needs to do a $1,500 sewer repair that isn't necessarily an emergency, but it needs to be done, sometimes it can take as much as 6 weeks to get through this process. And meanwhile, that problem just keeps getting worse. So with discussion with the school district, we came to the $50,000 level. And what that will do is anything $50,000 and less will come to our office, we'll review it, and we'll essentially approve it. And that way, within a day, Gary can go out and start getting those things repaired and doing that work. And it will still come back to this board, similar to the ratification. Well, it will be with that ratification docket. So you'll still see it, but these $1,500, $2,500 things won't have to wait.
Will they need a 3-bid?
In some cases, there's some existing contracts that are in place. There's various...
Then you can just do that work, but it's outside that.
Right, and if the situation lends itself to that, we'll get 3 bids informally and go through that process. So, exactly. So we don't have to wait for this approval and then school board approval and go through that.
So does the school board have to approve?
This resolution will go to council and to the school board for their approval to approve. Right, so it'll go back as a ratification to the board also. But in some cases, they actually don't have to do that. They've got some authority.
And we'll use our school purchasing abilities that we already have in place. If we were using other funding sources, we'll just adhere to those type of requirements we have through our purchasing and/or city contract, annual contracts that we have available to us that we have agreed to through other board meetings agreements.
So it accelerates everything, and you've got a giant task to accomplish with this pathway of greatness by August, so
Yes,
it's going to help you hit those timelines and get things fixed with that.
exactly.
That's what you're like.
And we're still going to be working with the MAPS office, so they're still going to oversight on it to approve what we're doing and realize what we're doing on the purchasing part of it. That statement just gets us through this process.
And you'll continue to see it after the fact, so if you in the future don't like something, we can always rethink that. But we think this is the best way to help be effective with the things they need to get done.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Moved in second. We'll vote. Approved. Next, we have the consent docket from the alphabet standpoint, A through AD. I would ask for a motion to approve this consent docket subject to individual consideration.
Question, is the lighting system at Star Creek B, Star Spencer, B, is that interior inside the building, or is that exterior lighting?
Gary, can you answer that? I mean, I can look it up in the item here, but...
It's changing out all the corridor lighting from either T12 or T8 lighting to LED lighting of a project that'll happen this summer.
And then, what was the other one here? Approval of the sanitary sewer at middle school? Where is that?
It's back behind the gym and the chiller pen. We just got through redoing the chiller pen. When you know there's a sewer line that runs underneath it, we did it all in concrete. There's some issues with that sewer line, so we're going to reroute the whole sewer line around the chiller pen. So it's a pretty good amount of line that has to be redone. So
Doesn't know it's affecting those fields or anything?
no, we're out of that completely. Stay in the fire lane. We're going to stay in the fire lane. So.
That equals good plan. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm sorry? It's been moved. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Are there any comments by board, staff, and citizens? Seeing none, thank you for being here. We're adjourned.